The universe is Primax 984.17 Alpha, the universe of the American Transformers Generation 1 cartoon. But it is the year 2322, 1 year after the end of the Spark War, and after the Predacon Cryotech used Primus's power without reservation. Such an intense use of Primus's energies was sure to gain the attention from his enemy, the Chaos-Bringer Unicron. While the Cybertronians celebrated the revitalization of their planet, 7 beams of energy came from what appears to be a black hole in a remote region of the galaxy. Cut to Cybertron. The news reporter Rook is talking to the camera about why so many people have gathered today. 1 year ago, Cybertron was under the harsh occupation of the Viacons, under the command of the Predacon Megatron. However, thanks to the heroic sacrifice of Optimus Primal, the Viacons were defeated, Cybertron's ancient nature was restored through the Great Reformatting, and Cybertronians no longer had to hide in the shadows, fearing the extraction of their sparks. A new age has dawned on Cybertron. But today was a celebration of the old meeting the new, as 5 Autobots, lost since the Great War between the Autobots and Decepticons, have finally come home. Cybertron has beamed to their ship information about how much has changed since they've left, but they're still bound for a shock. After all, Rook himself only recently returned to Cybertron and still hasn't gotten used to it. Rook goes to Cybertron's acting leader, Cheetor, as he asks him about the homecoming Autobots. However, Rattrap shifts the camera's focus on himself as he narrates the scene. Autobots and Maximals from all over Cybertron are here to welcome the new arrivals. But Rattrap is disappointed when the camera shifts focus from himself to the incoming Autobot craft. With held breaths, the doors open and out come the Autobot veterans Sideswipe, Sunstreaker, Trailbreaker, Roulette, and Shadow Striker. Cheetor, Silverbolt, and Black Arachnia attempt to greet the returning Autobots, though Sideswipe simply walks past him, shocked at how much Cybertron has changed, while Sunstreaker greets Silverbolt and apologizes for his brother's behavior, and tries to hog the camera's attention to himself for a little bit. Trailbreaker remarks that Cybertronians probably needed to do some adapting for this new world, and Cheetor remarks that some of them have had a running start, revealing his techno-organic alternate mode. The scene is happy as the returning heroes are welcomed home. Rattrap even offers to share some of the old McAdams oil he saved. But then, the 7 beams of light rain down on Cybertron, enveloping Silverbolt, Black Arachnia, Shadow Striker, Roulette, Sideswipe, Sunstreaker, and Trailbreaker, as everyone in the crowd runs for cover. The lights return to the sky, taking away the Autobots and Maximals. Shocked, Rook remarks to his audience that they will return after these messages. Over 4 years ago, I started a series called Transformers Lore, which sought to cover much of the deep lore elements of Transformers, as well as other stories from across the multiverse, with the intention of giving the viewer all the context needed for a string of events that start with Transformers Universe, the story that marked Transformers fiction paying a bit more attention to its metafiction. It's been a long 4 years, and I think it's time to stop worrying about giving you all the context and just give you the story itself with some added information to help you guys realize just how deep Transformers lore can go. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the first in a 3-part series that will be covering the events of the Universe War. The 7 Autobots and Maximals are beamed into cages, confused as to what just happened and not sure as to where they are. While Sunstreaker is worried that he might have been dented, Black Arachnia can feel the evil in this place. She feels her spark being tainted and becoming evil, but Silverbolt works to keep her calm. After all, they came too far for her to fall into her Predacon ways again. But they begin to lose hope as a booming voice welcomes them to the pit. In the core of Cybertron, Alpha Trion is in talks with Primus. Primus is worried that Unicron's begun a new scheme as, across the multiverse and across all eras, Cybertronians are being mysteriously abducted. Among the footage Primus shows Alpha Trion, it includes Grimlock from the Dreamwave Generation 1 comics universe, Megatron of RX 1006.0 Beta, the universe of the Beast Optimus Prime, Brawn from the Marvel US Transformers comic universe while he's fighting Megatron in 1993, as well as Tap Out and Snarl, natives to this universe. Watching Unicron's actions, Primus feels inspired to choose his own warriors from the multiverse and time. Back in the pit, drones have reformatted the bodies of Silverbolt, Black Arachnia, Sunstreaker, Sideswipe, Roulette, and Shadow Striker into more combat-capable bodies. Trailbreaker is left untouched for some reason. While Trailbreaker remarks that the pit looks like something from the works of Dante and Blake, Sunstreaker is confused, prompting Sideswipe to criticize Sunstreaker for having spent so much time on Earth without learning more about its culture. When they realize they're out in the open, strange creatures come from the pit. While they fight these creatures, Trailbreaker remarks that the scenery looks familiar. As they fight, it's becoming clearer that the Autobots and Maximals are becoming more violent and harsher than before, as two shadowy figures watch from afar, mentioning that their master has chosen well, and that their energies will fuel his master. While Roulette points out that even though the Cybertronians only have one change form, the pit creatures seem to have innumerable configurations. Ultimately, the creatures overpower the Autobots and Maximals and escort them away to what appears to be some sort of arena. Black Arachnia resists being put into another cage, but is beaten down by Tankor. Silverbolt yells at Tankor, but is taken down by Stryker as Obsidian arrives and orders the Autobots and Maximals to be put into the cages as he stands with Reptilian and another familiar-looking robot. Silverbolt recognizes Tankor, so Trailbreaker asks Silverbolt who these guys are. Silverbolt says that he recognizes Tankor, Obsidian, and Tigerhawk, but they're supposed to be dead, and Tigerhawk was once his friend. Overhearing this, the person Silverbolt thinks is Tigerhawk steps in and reveals that these are not the people Silverbolt knows. You see, the Tankor here is from Primex 208.06 Zeta, an alternate Beast Wars universe that the ghost of Starscream played a larger role in. Obsidian is also from that universe, and not the one Silverbolt knows. In their universe, Obsidian seized power over the Viacons during the Spark War, and Silverbolt died. Stryker is a native to this universe from the US Generation 1 cartoon, while Reptilian is from the universe of the video game Dual Fight Transformers Beast Wars Beast Warrior's Strongest Decisive Battle. Because of course he is. And the person Silverbolt thinks is Tigerhawk is not actually Tigerhawk, but Razorclaw from an alternate Beast Wars universe, though he does have Tigerhawk's dual spark and Vok heritage. Obsidian explains that Silverbolt's function is only to fight and die in the cauldron. Ideals and intentions are being stripped away and distilled to pure rage and fury, just like the enraged Black Arachnia. After all, it takes longer in some than others, but there have been others who have been broken by the pit. As an example, Obsidian reveals two abducted Cybertronians that have been here longer. One of them is an RX smokescreen coming from the Battle for Megatron web game, while the other is a Primex smokescreen who came from the universe of the World War II era Transformers G.I. Joe miniseries. The two smokescreens are champing at the bit to tear each other apart, as they are armed with weapons. Trailbreaker notes that he thinks he recognizes one of the smokescreens, identifying them as Autobots, refusing to believe that they'd fight each other to the death. But after a fierce fight, the RX smokescreen kills the Primex smokescreen, and his spark is loose to feed the cauldron. Realization dawns upon the Autobots and Maximals that the pit is within the body of Unicron himself, and that these sparks are fueling Unicron for his return. With pain, Primus feels that another piece of himself has been consumed by Unicron. After all, sparks are fragments of Primus's own essence. Though the Oracle is still tainted, he can still reach within his core and call forth his own champion to challenge Unicron. With great effort, Primus brings back one of Cybertron's heroes, Optimus Primal. As he explains the situation, Primal simply says, "Well, that's just Prime." And that's going to wrap up the first part of our retelling of the Universe War. I hope you've enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel for more nerdy content, follow me on social media to make sure you don't miss anything, and join the community. And consider supporting me on Patreon if you want to see this channel continue. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Huge thanks to our patrons, including this month's $10 plus patron, Josh Adkins. Check out the description for more patrons and more info about how you can receive a shout out here.